So how do you find something on the slide and on the microscope? Well, what I like to teach first is that you start on the low power, the 4x lens, so the shortest lens. So this is the 4x. And then you bring it all the way up without looking into the oculars. And then you see, then you start looking in the oculars, and then you lower it back down. Okay, so I'm turning the coarse adjustment until you see a flash of color or image. And then once you get it pretty close with the coarse focus, then you switch to the outside ring, the one right here, or it's on both sides, the fine focus, and then we're going to move that forward and backwards until it's actually in focus. Okay, and that gets you started. And if it's a bacteria, you won't see anything except some color and maybe some tiny specks. Okay, and so once you have it focused on 4x, you rotate the lens, the 10x objective, so you just spin the dial, and then that's in place, and it should be pretty close in focus. These scopes have been around for a while, and so they get kind of banged up, and so they lose this ability to stay in focus between different objectives. If they are in focus, that's called parfocal, P-A-R-F-O-C-U-C-A-L, parfocal. All right, so we just move this to the 10x, and then fine focus while we're looking. If we cannot find it, then call your instructor over and they'll work with it. But what I do is then I can back it off the coarse focus. I come out and don't look in the oculars, and I get some distance between it, maybe drop it a ½ inch, and then I'll look in here, and then I'll slowly, carefully raise it until I can get a flash of color or light, and then of the bacteria, and then I can find focus at that point. Okay, so that's the 10x, and if I have it on 10x, I should be able to rotate it to the 40x, and just a couple of turns of the fine focus, get it an image. It's the same thing, if you aren't getting in focus, you can back it off ½ inch, and then look again in the eyepieces until you can get it something sort of in focus, and then go to fine focus. Okay. All right, and then once you're on focus on the 40x, then you rotate it to the 100x. Now the 100x is called the oil immersion lens, and so you put a little drop of oil, and I don't have the oil here, but you put a little tiny drop of oil, about an 1/8 inch wide, just touch it on there out of a little squirt bottle, and then you rotate the lens into the oil, because this oil is set so that it keeps the light from scattering, because the glass lens in this 100x lens is very tiny width-wise, and so that keeps all the light coming right into that, because there's this idea of the refraction. So as light goes from the lenses and passes through air, it scatters. So we try to put oil in there which matches the same density as the lens, and so then the light doesn't scatter. Okay, so we get the maximum light. So we have the oil lens, and we put it right into the oil, and then we just do fine focus. Okay, 4 full turns one direction. If not, come back to the start on fine focus. Go 4 times the other way, and then if you can't get it, then you have to go to plan B. Okay, all right. And plan B would be to probably go back to the 10x. You don't want to go to the 40x, because then you'll get oil on the 40, because it's pretty close to the slide. So we'll go back to the 10x, find it and focus it, then rotate it to the oil, not passing through the 40. We do not want to get oil on the 40, that ruins it. Okay, we'll get it back, and then we rotate it in here, and then fine focus, and then that usually works pretty good. Okay, so that's the technique to find the item. Now there is, once you've been proficient with this technique, there is a better way to go when you work with bacteria all the time. You don't want to have to go through all these 4 lenses. So we're going to go right to the oil lens directly. So you put a drop of oil on this, you find the oil 100x lens and you rotate it in, and then you will raise the lens, the stage up until you see a flash of light along the edge of the glass slide. Once you go up, you'll see this flash of light. That means you're into the oil, and then from that point on, you do not touch the coarse focus. You can go fine focus. You can go 4 rotations, 4 complete turns, one direction as you're looking. See if you can get it in focus. If not, rotate it back neutral, and then go 4 turns on the fine focus the other direction, and then then you can find it. But that's all you can do is 4 turns. Otherwise, you risk driving the lens into the slide, breaking the slide, which would be a lot better than breaking the lens, which happens sometimes. You'll break the lens. So do not touch the coarse focus once you get it there. And then, so once you do this, so you're gonna put the drop of oil on here. You raise this up till you get the flashlight along the edge of the slide, meaning that you're in the oil. And then you will go fine focus only. Go 4 turns one direction, nothing. Go back, go the other direction, find it, and then you can fine focus it from there. So it takes practice lots of times. Unfortunately, you guys don't get to see this in person, at least the start of the quarter, but hopefully by the end of the quarter you might get a shot at this. There is some online microscopes that you might be able to use. Ask Christy, your instructor, about this. Ask her to get a copy of that website, and you can actually see and go through the process of finding things on a microscope. So that is one option. All right, so that ends this session on the microscope. Kind of lengthy, but we got it done, I think. So let me know if you have any questions through Christy, or you can contact me directly by email at jdykes@wvc.edu, JDYKES @wvc.edu. All right, thank you.